I am VP of engineering at Condor. It's a biopharma software company, basically revolutionizing the complete financial landscape for biopharma using AI and data.
What does that mean?
Think it like the whole drug manufacturing from discovery part, like when a lot of companies invest into a research part of the drug, like, hey, this is the particular disease we want to solve, and they invest a lot in research, and then after all the research gets completed, it comes to basically trial, like they send it to government for trial approval. And the trial is a very complicated process because it runs from 8 to 10 years down, like just for a cancer treatment and things like that. And this requires a lot of financial commitment from the companies. It's very, very difficult because you have to work with different vendors, different hospitals, doctors, patients all over the world. The whole financial system is very, very complicated. And top biopharma companies, they basically hire tons of accountants just to make it happen. Now, what Condor is doing is with AI is we are bridging the gap of what's happening in the real world and how this trial can be done in the most efficient manner through financial platform. Like our mission is like no drug treatment should fail because of financial uncertainty. And that's what we are trying to do. So we connect all the ClinOps data, all the financial data, and make sure that you can plan a particular treatment trial, like a cancer treatment, instead of coming in like, let's say, 10 years, you can optimize it with the particular sites, particular patients, particular patient groups, and particular geolocations, and you can still bring it down to like maybe 6 years and with more financial transparency. So instead of spending like 20 million, you may be able to do it like an 8 million. So you spend way less money, less time to basically getting that drug to the market, to the people as fast as possible. So it's a completely revolutionized by AI. Instead of in legacy way, the accountants basically manage 400 tab Excel sheets all hooked up to each other, their financial system all over the place. It's so hard to maintain. And half of the drugs, or like 90% of the drug, doesn't get made because of that uncertainty, because they don't know where they're spending money and things like that.
So if I had to break this down, we're talking about not just financial modeling of drug trials, but the facilitation of building the financial model for the drug trial and then executing on that.
Exactly. It's like forecasting, it's budgeting, it's benchmarking, pretty much everything. For an example, a company like J&J or Merck or like these big biopharma companies, they can literally say, hey, you know what? I got these 20 research, which is showing pretty good results in, research. Which one I should like try to go with? Because even before they start, and with our data and the AI, we can actually help them to be pick and choose. Like, hey, I think considering like all the data we train our model on, and we understand what exactly it takes to get that, what is the chance of success, how much money you would need to basically get this drug to people, like how much time it will take, which sites you need to work with, which hospitals you need to work with. All this information is available beforehand with our AI. So that is basically the real impact, because today it's not available.
Obviously, there have been systems in place to do drug trials for years, and for these massive companies that have, big pharma out there, they have in-house teams that are building this. And I assume this is as much a data science, machine learning problem that they've put things on. How have, when you say about AI is changing this game, is that really LLMs that are changing the game? That part of this AI?
It's a little bit of everything. So LLM is definitely changing the game, because with LLM, you're going to, every big companies use their own system, like their own data sets. Every company is different.
And that data set is based on, this is historical data, as well as here what we're currently testing, all the data associated with it.
Exactly. So LLM is basically generalizing this data. Now you can do way faster than, hey, this particular company only uses this particular data sets for maybe forecasting within their own company today, which is also like a segregated data. One of the things which we are seeing is like their accounting, finance, and their analytics systems don't even talk to each other because they're so big that data is all over the place. What AI does it is basically create the vertices of a graph between these different systems, like site, hospital, vendors, patients, your investigators, which is like doctors, trial, we create a very, very deep knowledge graph within Condor, which can enable, which is all implemented with AI, and that have enabled to give you the insight which was not possible. On top of that, we have put a really good math, like a calculation, because it's all financial systems. Not everyone understand that math. So the team have done quite a bit of research to make sure that the math adds up, the calculation is proper. So with that ontology graph and the math and all the data, now we can predict way more accurately. Like our forecasting accuracy is, for example, 90% today. Our um, the whole process, accounting, is a very, very critical and complex part, because you need to be in regulatory environment, secure environment, you need to be data governance. Like, this is a very complicated process. So we were able to reduce the whole process by 70% in timeline because of using AI.
AI systems in general and LLMs in particular are probabilistic
Yeah.
systems, but you're dealing with some deterministic stuff,
Yeah.
maths ultimately. So how are you putting deterministic layering on these probabilistic systems?
The underlying math and the system is very deterministic. When you enroll 100 patients, every patient is showing up to your trial, you're giving them some money, and there is a budget assigned to it. It's very deterministic, and how you're calculating what is the hospital's charging. Everything is very deterministic, and that's very, very then mapped to each other. So you never lose a track of what exactly is going on. Then probabilistic part is, now you have all the data and all the calculation is very, very deterministic. Instead of like writing it back into the system, can you figure out an analytics part of it, which can help you even to get deeper analysis? To give you an example, like, I mean, a lot of times these companies would like to know, hey, why this particular trial is struggling, where we are losing, which site is not working well. Today, it takes a team of 4 or 5 BI engineers to really dig into the data, run queries. This with AI now is like a 2 minutes work. And every company have their internal fields, mapping them to each other. It's like very, very fast.
It's the connective tissue,
Yes.
essentially, that makes this work really well.
It is the DNA, basically connecting everything and flowing everything, and now with the precision is the key.
The outcome for this is successful trial. When they're talking about using AI to come up with new drugs, are they actually coming up with new drugs, or are they kind of doing what you're talking, making the process for finding new drugs a little bit better? Or is that just a different animal than you're dealing with?
I think it's a different animal, but everything is connected. It's like manufacturing a drug is like, or finding a new drug is a very different ball game. But there, I know Google just invested, I think, $2 billion in a company in UK where they are literally using AI, because it's also even on like human ontology level, it's like a DNA and a math. Every protein synthesis, how does it react to a particular chemical and particular part, like, is all math. So they're using AI a lot to do like more experiments, more wider algorithms, better outcomes. So that definitely revolutionized the industry and make it more efficient. Then the second part is like, which is very clumsy part, is like this trial. Then the manufacturing part, because once it gets approved, so for an example, a company can do a 20,000 researcher in a year, and they may spend about $20 billion for that, and then they may spend another 2 billion just for the trials. Out of 2000, maybe they just submit 20. Out of 20, actually one actually end up making. By the way, in that 20, 90% fails because of this financial uncertainty, because they spend so much money, they don't have an way to optimize this, they don't even know what they're like can get out of it. Their milestones are not very defined. They can't even predict how much more money they need. Sometimes they're so close, but they run out of money. And this is the transparency Condor can provide, basically, to make their whole financial plan.
Is it lowering the barrier to entry for smaller players to run
Oh,
drug trials?
100%. 100%. Like, I think we are already seeing some traction from the market where, like, they're like, oh, this is great. Like, how can I just connect all my data to your system and then start predicting it, start planning my trials?
IP, I imagine, suddenly becomes very important here too. Are you a cloud-based system? Are these people building their systems on-prem? Like, we're watching some of those transitions with AI happen. And in addition to that, are you using various models or are you using an in-house model? There's a lot of people very concerned. Am I just giving Anthropic? Am I just giving OpenAI all of my information?
We are using mix of that. So we have a custom model. We also use LLMs, but even those LLMs are in a very governed environments on a cloud. So it's not like we are sending the data to Anthropic. We're running a localized LLM within AWS so that the data doesn't go outside and the data is also secure. We work in biopharma industry. I mean, this is the most highly regulated and compliant industry. So we need to make sure that we do not do any compromise with securing the data of customers. Like the LLM is trained on a very limited environments and gives the prediction based on that. The LLM doesn't have power to write it back.
We haven't had the data leak yet, though. I'm very interested in pharma, biomed, just because they are highly regulated. So if they can figure out how to do this within regulations, that becomes a very important use case for everyone else. However, we haven't had the mass screw up yet that's gotten reported. How secure are these systems? How confident are you that we're buttoned up here?
No, that's a great question. I think every company tries their best to basically protect their data through all the technological advancement and implementation. We are SOC compliant, which is basically making sure go through auditory process every year. We know that who's accessing the systems, who have the changing power, who have accessing power. It is very, very well layer security protocol we follow so that we don't really, even by mistakes, it doesn't screw up. So so there are two things. One is through tech, you make sure. Then there's an internal process companies follow. Where like, hey, everyone is tied to this particular ID, and then this ID only have access to this. Even if it's a customer outside, like even the other day we were having a conversation with a customer who have a contractor. For that contractor, we know that we cannot give them every access to even their own company's data. We only allow them a limited access. So you have to put a system in place which allows you to create those layers in terms of policies and also tech.
What's your revenue model for all of this?
I think I wish I could speak more on the revenue model because I'm not in finance, but I think it's more on the trial basis and also like all the add-on functionality, premium on like how you're using our forecasting capability, how you're using our AI agents. There's a forecasting agents. There is a agent which can help you with the benchmarking. So everything's like an add-on fees, but it's all about how we can provide the value to our customers to get the medicine out to people as soon as possible. It's a very mission-driven, culture and the goal we are like shooting for.
And it's like a lot of these AI companies, like you're not SaaS, you're more solution as a service in that new rubric. How big is your team?
Engineering team is right now about 10 to 12 people, very solid engineers. What we're hiring for is like a really smart senior staff engineer level who have enough understanding of the traditional machine learning and the data engineering. At the same time, they can go into this AI world where like running AI agents in scale, because this is where the world is going today. It's all about running AI agents on production.
Are you a Claude shop? Are you a Codex shop? Or is everybody just build how you need to build, just get it in here?
Pretty much the overall high-level architecture is pretty much same for everyone. Either you're on GCP, AWS, or you're using like third-party companies. But I can see that a lot of AI companies is a lot in generative AI field. I see like you're trying to create new type of image and new type of videos and new type of this, and they're okay, and I think they're going to be successful. Some of them, like not if not all. On this biopharma or these type of companies or in manufacturing or construction, I could see that their architecture may look different because they're actually trying to solve a fundamental workflow or process problem, which was not possible before, but with AI now they can. It makes that very, very easy for them to solve that.
AI is a big word.
Yeah.
What you're talking about, like these machine learning problems are, have been in the industry for 30 years. People have been using big data and science, data science around this kind of stuff. The difference is now the LLMs give you the ability to ask and query that information and retrieve it differently. Is that the big difference here that you guys have found here? Is it simply you're able to architect a system that people can access in a new or different way?
So I think even with AI, the core basics of engineering doesn't go away. Like anyone can say, hey, we can bring in all these different data sets and put it in Claude, and why can't we get the same results? You can't, because how about you ask the same question after 4 years? Because would your Claude have that 4-year-old memory? Would it have the context? The times have changed, the data have changed. That's when the engineering comes, because you need to build an end-to-end engineering system where you're thinking about context management, your long-term memory, short-term memory, your caching layer, your hallucination fixing layer, your audit logs, like improving, creating a feedback loop. Everything is an engineering end-to-end. And that's where the real beauty of these companies is going to come. Whoever does it really, really well are the one which is going to be successful, because that's when you could show the impacts. Like even after 4 years, you're like, hey, I'm asking this particular thing and I need this analysis. So like, yeah, if I refer it back to like 4 years thing, we had a similar thing you asked about, and this was the thing, but now this have changed and this is the outcome.
Are we at the point now where you can build a system that is sustainable for 4 years? Things seem to still be changing so rapidly that, architecture evolves.
It's a great question. I think no one knows, but at the same time, I also feel like the basics of engineering, which was founded even like 50 years ago, that's not going to go away. What's going to happen? Like AI is going to get better at everything it does, but you would still need a caching layer. You would still need a very scalable database. You will still need a vector search. You will still need some sort of machine learning training and inference. So that is still going to exist, and you need to optimize. You need people to basically manage it. It will probably do it faster. It will probably will do some of the things out of the box, but you still need people to do that.
You've been in the industry for a while. You've seen tools come and improve. What's worrying you right now?
I think the biggest worry is, I think every company with this revolution of AI, they think that they have a power of doing a lot, which they do, but it's on loose right now. So what's happening is every team is creating 10 more things in a week. Who's going to manage it after 2 years? No one knows. How you're going to make sure like what you're creating is actually valuable? People are creating a lot of bots, a lot of random tooling, applications, and everything. And everyone's like, "Oh, this is really good," but then what does happen after it? Like, how does it turn into a return on investment? How does it turn into the real impact or business growth, or the, like, how does anyone benefit from it? So I think the companies need to figure out, and that's the biggest challenge for everyone, is like constraining the environments where they're developing this, so they can really use the AI in a very, very good way instead of going loose with it. It's like you have I don't know, $1 billion, and suddenly like, hey, what am I going to do with this? Like, I'm going to spend a lot of money everywhere. But it's more like carefully planning that.
Creation is easy, maintenance is hard. Yep. And to be more crass, making a baby is fun. Raising a baby is exhausting.
Exactly.
And not everybody is cut out for actually raising the baby and doing what it takes to turn it into another productive member of society. We're kind of in the AI making baby phase and haven't really considered what's going to happen when they start growing up.
Yeah. No, that's a great analogy, and I'm going to use it for
You have fun with that one.
Yes. But I think you're absolutely right. I mean, everyone now have a lot of babies, and they just need to figure out how to make sure that they drive them into right direction for the right thing. Otherwise, we are going to create a huge tech debt for ourselves. We are going to create huge amount of work, and then that would kill the companies eventually.
Or I've heard plenty of people arguing that tech debt isn't a problem now. We'll just throw the AI at it.
I mean, the AI doesn't solve its own problem. Probably it will like come up with another problem. So it's like going to go in a spiral loop. It's basically, oh, I'm fixing this tech debt. Now I'm going to create another tech debt by fixing this tech debt. Then how do you solve that? Because it's just the AI which is fighting with each other. It's hard.
But AI is real good at solving problems AI made.
Yes.
Where's your bottleneck? You're running a team right now. The coding obviously isn't the bottleneck anymore. Where is it for you?
I think the talent which is good at building system is the bottleneck. I would say that you will always find people who can write the code very, very fast and make 10 PRs a day when they were making a PR maybe in a week. But can finding those people who can actually build an end-to-end system with that product mindset is the challenge. Like there are not many people who actually can do that.
But herein lies the question. Like teams used to be built with the couple of superstar ICs, and then well this guy will just get this part done because somebody needs to do that. With the grunt work solved, if we have to optimize everything for the 10x, the 100x guy, how do we make those?
I think that's where this forward deploy engineer term is probably you're going to hear a lot and a lot in this AI world, where now there's so many problems in this world which yet to be solved. But the companies who are dealing with those problems doesn't know how to solve it because they're stuck in that environment for a long time. Then there are like these tech which have all the power and they know how to solve it, but they don't know how to bridge it because like someone needs to go in there, really understand it, and then connect it to solve it. I think that's where probably a lot of, I mean, Microsoft recently just did like a 2.5 billion investment in FDE engineering. It's like hiring so many FDE engineers to basically going into those particular problem sets and connecting it through their own internal AI systems. That's where the revolution is going to happen next.
In product, ultimately, people that are just walking out there and I need to understand everything about this, and then we'll figure out how to fix it.
Exactly, exactly.
Not every engineer can be a product person.
And that's where the challenge is. So I think
What do you do with those engineers that aren't going to make that transition?
I think there's still a lot of internal work and there's also a lot of innovation, even if you're not solving a product problem. For an example, I was talking to one of the engineers in my team recently, and we talked about how can we do a complete end-to-end agentic workflow, even for the internal development. Can we have a system where like someone just say, hey, this could be a bug, and tag a bot, and that bot basically just spin up a new environment, test it, validates it, and basically reproduce the bug and fix it, and then open up a PR. Like, but building that whole system with all the railguards and making sure that everything works properly, doesn't do anything stupid, is going to take some time, a lot of time from a couple of engineers to build it and manage it for a long period of time. So it's like having that will be also adding a lot of value. Or it could be even automating your internal processes, going to be a huge amount of work. Or it could be converting a sales process into something else. So there's a lot of mundane work going to turn around with those type of engineering.
Extending the metaphor about raising the baby, I think, is actually applicable here too, because there are people, a lot of people that are parents. Some people are just there, and some people are present, even for the boring parts. And you need somebody that is trying to guide, trying to evaluate, like, is it helicopter parenting? I'm trying to find the right metaphor here, but ultimately it is about somebody who isn't just going to set it and forget it or just show up around dinner. They actually have to be ever present in the thing they're building.
Yeah, I always use an analogy for like a machine, a very complicated machine. Not every part is like plays the same role. There could be a particular part which is very, very important and does this, but then there's also screw and bolt, and there is some panel which is like also played part. The machine won't work without anything. So in this whole system, everyone will play their part, even if they're like doesn't have a product mindset. It's just like same baby analogy. Someone is going to be get all great GPA and become something in their career, but then someone is going to do something else which is equally important. So it's all about like how do you like when I'm thinking about the team, building a team, for me the most important part is like I can create a really good setup with the superstars, rock stars, the people who actually make things happen, the people who actually can solve customer issues, the people who can manage things. So everyone will play the part to basically make the great product.
I guess, can you identify there is something that you are the best at? I just need to know what that thing is.
Exactly. I always say, like, you work with people's strengths and you work around their weaknesses. So you just work with them in that way.
Thanks so much.